Hi, this is Dr. Priyadarshini, Assistant Professor, Department of English, KCS Kasi Nada College. Today we are going to see the novel The Scarlet Letter. The Scarlet Letter was written by Nathaniel Hawthorne in the year 1850. This particular work is a masterpiece of American literature and also a classic moral study. Let's go into the story, The Scarlet Letter. The novel Scarlet Letter is written by Hawthorne, which is published in the year 1850. The novel is considered to be one of the masterpieces in American literature. The novel Scarlet Letter explores guilt, revenge, redemption in colonial America. The author blends the supernatural elements along with psychological insight in his story. The protagonist of the story is Hester Prynne, who is punished for adultery. Let us explore the novel. Nathaniel Hawthorne was born on July 4th, 1804 in Salem, Massachusetts in USA. He is a famous American novelist, short story writer, who is a master of allegorical and symbolic tales. He is one of the great novelists in American literature. His famous works are The Scarlet Letter and The House of Seven Gables. And he died on May 19th, 1864. The important characters in the novel The Scarlet Letter are Hester Prynne, who is a protagonist of the story, Roger Chillingworth, physician and husband of Hester Prynne, Arthur Dimmesdale, who is a Boston minister and also who is the father of Hester Prynne's illegitimate child, Pearl, who is the daughter of the protagonist Hester Prynne, are the main characters in the novel The Scarlet Letter. The novel Scarlet Letter opens with a long introduction about how the book came to be written. The narrator is nameless, who is the survivor of the custom house in Salem, Massachusetts. In the custom house, the antique of the custom house, he discovers number of documents. Among the manuscripts, there is also a bundled with a scarlet golden embroidered patch of a cloth in the shape of an A. The manuscript, which was the work of the past survivor, which has given a detailed account of an incident that had occurred 200 years ago in the narrator's time. When the narrator lost his custom post, he decides to write a fictional account of the events that is recorded in the manuscripts. Now, the author proceeds to write the novel The Scarlet Letter. The novel Scarlet Letter is set in the 17th century Boston, which was then a Puritan settlement. Hester Prynne, who is the protagonist, is led from the town prison along with her daughter Pearl. The scarlet letter A on her breast. A man in the crowd tells an elderly onlooker that Hester is punished for adultery. Hester's husband, who's a scholar, who's much older than her, marries her even after knowing that she doesn't love him. He has sent her ahead of him to US, but he never arrived in Boston. Hester thinks that he has been lost at sea. While waiting for her husband, Hester has apparently had an affair with another man and has given birth to a child. But she refuses to reveal the lover's identity. And she was thrown in prison for her sin and secrecy, and she was led and asked to stand on the town scaffold, and she was given lectures by the town fathers to reveal the identity, which they say that if she reveals the identity of her lover, she can escape from the punishment. But the stern Hester refuses to reveal the identity. The elderly onlooker is none other than Hester's missing husband, Roger Chillingworth, who is presently settled in Boston and practicing medicine. After looking at his wife, who has committed adultery and also decided to revenge and to bring out the true identity of a secret lover. After the punishment, Hester supports herself by working as a seamstress, and the Pearl, who is an impish child, was shunned by the community. Hester and her daughter Pearl live in a small cottage on the outskirts of Boston. With the help of Arthur Dimmesdale help, the mother and the daughter stays in that cottage. Arthur Dimmesdale is a minister who appears to be suffering from a mysterious heart trouble. And Chillingworth attaches himself to the ailing minister and moves to his cottage and lives with him and takes care of him round the clock. And he wants to find out what is the connection between Arthur Dimmesdale and Hester Prynne. And as he has intended, he also comes out with the truth that the hidden identity which the Hester refuses to tell her secret lover is none other than Arthur Dimmesdale. Arthur Dimmesdale's psychological anguish deepens and he invents new tortures for himself. In the meantime, Hester's life changes little by little because of her charitable deeds and humility. Actually, through her charitable deeds and humility, she earns the pardon from the community, especially one particular day at the night time when Pearl was 7 years old. She and her mother Hester is returning from home for a visit to a deathbed when they encounter Dimmesdale is standing on the top of a scaffold, who is trying to punish himself for his sins. Hester and Pearl also join him, and the three link hands and join on the scaffold. Dimmesdale refuses Pearl's request that he should acknowledge her publicly the next day as his daughter, and Hester could feel that the minister's condition is worsening day by day, and she resolves to intervene. She goes to Chillingworth and asks him to stop adding to Dimmesdale's self-torment, but Chillingworth refuses to do so. Now Hester arranges a encounter with Dimmesdale in the forest because she knows that Chillingworth has probably guessed that she plans to reveal his identity to Dimmesdale. The former lover decide to flee to Europe, where they can live peacefully as a family, and they decide to take a sailing ship from Boston in the next 4 days. Hester and Dimmesdale feel a comfort that they are leaving Boston and going to somewhere else. Hester removes a scarlet letter and lets it down her hair. Now, Pearl, who sees her mother without the scarlet letter, does not even recognize her. The day before the ship is about to sail, the town people gathered for a holiday where Dimmesdale preaches them one of his most eloquent sermons ever. Meanwhile, Hester also learns the truth that Chillingworth has also come to know that Hester, Dimmesdale and Pearl have decided to flee for Europe, and he knows the plan. At the same time, he too has booked a ticket in the same ship. Dimmesdale, after preaching one of his most eloquent sermon, comes out of the church and stands on the scaffold along with Hester and Pearl, publicly reveals that he is the father of Pearl, and he falls down unconscious and dies. Roger Chillingworth, frustrated in his revenge, dies after a year. Hester and Pearl leave Boston, and no one knows what happened to them. Many years later, Hester returns alone, still wearing the scarlet letter, live in the old cottage which she used to live along with her daughter Pearl, and she resumes her charitable work. Occasionally, she receives letter from her daughter Pearl, who was married a European aristocrat and established a family of her own. When Hester dies, she is buried next to author Dimmesdale. The two of them share a single tombstone which bears Scarlet letter A. The novel Scarlet Letter by Hawthorne, with reference to the life of Hester and Dimmesdale, who has a secret affair between them and have committed cardinal sin. Watching their life tells us, especially the readers, an insight into how secret sin affects a person. The author also urges his audience to avoid being put in such situations in which the end could be deadly. Thank you for listening.